Today in the Failing Up podcast, we have Nick Waldner with us discussing how success is all about the team that you have around you and the essentials of being an effective leader in a real estate environment. Let's jump in.
Welcome back to another episode of the Failing Up podcast, Humble Lessons in Life and Business. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Bethany Voice. How are you?
I'm great. Glad to be here. So excited.
Is that your podcast voice?
It is.
Did we just get
well, you know, I've gotten
that.
a little, some comments from my children that my voice is different on this. So
I've heard
I'm
that
trying
as
to
well.
soften it a little bit.
I think we have this like velvety, like,
Yeah,
I don't
we
know, for
just,
some
like,
reason,
drop
we're
it.
turning it
Y'all
on.
come in smooth. My kids have told me the opposite. My kids are like, Dad, back up from the microphone, bro.
Oh,
I'm like, hey, bro, I only show up one way.
no.
That's right. All on.
Guys, I
No.
plan on coming in and just discussing
Yeah.
who I am as a person,
next
There you
how
go.
I
I'm
love it.
feeling.
There
You
you
like
go.
the
Love it.
sound of
There you
rain,
go.
yeah.
tranquility.
Yeah.
We'll have you lay back on that
We have
couch.
the amazing Nick.
Well, when I was
Yeah.
3,
There you go. And our amazing co-host, Dusty Oglesby. Dusty, what's up, brother?
it's good to be here, man.
Look at those
Good to
kicks.
be in Texas. Come on now. Working on
I'm
them.
not gonna lie. My wife got me some kicks for this
Whoa.
for our stage appearance.
Come on
with
now.
Gary Keller.
I almost
So,
went.
Like
the
when you
next
text
say
the other
when you
day.
say kicks, do you mean Jordans? Like,
No,
did she
no,
get you some
no.
I
Jordans?
would think
that
you
what
have
kicks
to mean
mean?
Jordans, right?
Yeah, what do you
Is that what-
mean?
You
oh.
can't say
That's
kicks.
all
and then
kids
they
were
say-
saying.
It's
nice
like a
shoes.
new
Okay.
pair of Cole Haans.
You
And
can-
she's like,
You can say I got a new
Yeah.
pair of shoes.
Yeah,
Okay, there's a
kicks or
song called,
sneakers,
"Ooh,
for
I got
sure.
a new pair of shoes, but you can't say
Kicks
kicks.
are
Kicks are
Jordan
sneakers.
You say
specific.
kicks.
I think they're
J's.
sneakers. I think they're
Really?
sneakers.
They're J's.
There's something
I
that's
don't know if
collectible.
That's true.
J's.
For us younger generation,
So,
It just
I'm in that generation that missed that whole like sneaker kick thing,
Yeah.
and
see sneaker kick.
one of
Sneaker,
the
I say
agents, I don't
sneaker.
know, maybe it's a kick. One of the agents here at KW, Sheena, we're on a flight back,
yeah.
and she's a big
She's got a
sneakerhead.
great
Yeah, yeah.
And
collection.
we're literally sitting next to each other for 3 hours, and she's telling me everything I'm doing wrong in life. And the number one thing was
Shoes.
I need to up my sneaker game.
Yeah, yeah.
So what did she do? She bought me a pair while we were on the flight,
I
and it
love it.
showed up in my house 3
I
days
love it.
later.
Yeah, I
Well
love that.
played.
Do you wear?
Yeah.
I try, but I'm not that cool.
I just talked about
That's
the
how
other day.
I feel.
I'm the same
I
way.
put on
No.
some Nike high tops for our stage appearance, like
Yeah.
tried them on, instantly took them off and said, I can't pull this.
My wife said, "Those are really cool. You look ridiculous."
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's
I
what
feel
it is.
ridiculous in them. So
Well,
let
hey,
me back up.
I would look ridiculous if
and
I
say
came walking
that,
in here in Cole.
I got a new
Yeah.
pair of shoes,
Yes, you did.
right? That are shoes that I would not normally wear.
Did you get them
the
at
course of
Sears or
life.
where-
I did. I got them out of a catalog. Yes.
The old school Sears and Roebuck.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's where he got them.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Right there out of the
I have
catalog.
13 different pair of flip-flops. That's just all right. So Nick, thanks for joining us, brother.
Of
Look,
course.
we already got
Excited.
started and just we'll sit here and chit chat and BS the
Mhm.
whole day. So we better hop in. You want to take a minute, introduce yourself, tell people why you're so amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if I can.
Who named you the most handsome realtor in your town, right?
in my
Is that-
town?
Is that a
Yeah.
I thought I was
title?
nationally, but if you're just going to give me my town,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I have a very small town. Now I feel like
Population 2 people.
That's it.
population, my
Nick.
mom and my grandmother, and they
Yeah.
voted 100%.
They
There you
voted.
go. Both of them showed up
That's
at the polls.
hilarious.
That's classic.
I run a real estate team out of Maryland. We'll sell 450 homes, around 200 million this year.
Nice.
And everybody always says, "Wow, you're really killing it." No, there's a lot of really talented people that do a lot on our team. So we just have a really great culture and connection.
That's cool, brother. We appreciate you joining us. I know anytime I'm in Austin or traveling to an event, I always seek out Nick. You always make everybody in the room light up and just bring such an energy. And so
Man.
we all love you.
Hold my hand.
Yeah, I will. They're sweaty right now. I'm nervous. Just kidding. So we like to talk a lot about on this the failures, right? And so we know there's a lot of podcasts out there about what people do really well and their successes. But share with us a little bit, just transparently, as a leader and as you've grown. First, what does failure mean to me? Where do you see that show up?
Oh yeah. I mean, failure for us, it's ingrained in the culture of our team. Like we have something that's called Fail Forward Friday. We do it every single Friday. Everybody in the team shows up. It's a Zoom, so everybody has their camera on. And the rule is you have to come up with a failure that you had in the previous week, business related. Sometimes we switch it up and do personal and stuff, but business related. And then what you learn from that failure, what you're doing differently, or hey, I'm stuck. Can you guys help?
Wow.
Whatever works, and you should hear the failures that come out, the things people share, the vulnerability that creates a much deeper bond because now you know everybody around you isn't perfect, so you feel more connected because you already know you're not perfect.
Right.
It's an amazing part of our culture.
So we've copied that from you. Actually, I heard you say
Nice.
that several months ago. We are failing at fail forward Friday.
I was about to say kudos to
doing it very
your
well.
environment because I remember Phil and I were on a call with Nick and he shares this and we started texting each other like we got to do this.
I should do this on Friday.
Yeah, we were
That's
like
awesome.
Nick has this magical Friday moment and we stole it. And the first Friday, Phil and I jumped on. We're like, we're gonna do this. Crickets.
Oh yeah.
We were so
Nobody
uncomfortable.
wanted to-
For like
and
a long
I mean,
time.
and on us as leaders, right? Because it was like, well, you talk about your failures, and I mean, we were like,
That's failure. Like nobody. You
we
should
got
see when someone joins our team and the very first week, and I always tell somebody like, "Hey, we're gonna do Fail Forward Friday." And you're going to be called on, so you better be ready. Like coming on to a brand new team, you don't know anybody, and then that team saying, "Hey,
Tell us where you
open
messed
up
up."
and show us your biggest failure." It's really difficult, but once they get it, and once they get support from sharing, then it's like it changes everything.
Did you experience that when you first started it?
No. In the beginning, it was like, I'm not telling him how I failed.
Yeah.
And then I had to constantly share. And I mean, the good news is I failed a lot of things. So I always had material. And
I'll go, guys.
yeah, exactly.
Nick's
me,
got his hand up.
me again.
And after a while, people started feeling like, oh, that happened to me too. And this is what I did. And then you get more and more. And now I think one of the keys to Fail Forward Friday for us is, even though I'm the one moderating it, I'm not the one always giving an answer. So if you give a failure, you might step in with some advice and you might come in with your opinion. And if we get 2 or 3 perspectives, you're not going to like every perspective. You're not exactly like every person, but you get enough perspectives and you walk away going, all right, I have a really good idea. The whole point of it was we fail constantly, which means we're growing. And how do we get out of that failure mindset and into a solution mindset? And there's no better way than when everyone around you is supporting you and pushing you towards that.
Right.
Yeah, some of it's just verbalizing the statement, right? I think that maybe it was my wife or somebody was telling me about a part of the trick is like sometimes when you get, I don't remember who said it the other day, when you get someone to say it out loud and say it to themselves, they recognize how small it might be, right?
Yeah.
Or how
I think
how
Sajik
it
told
may
us
not
that.
be.
Yeah, Sajik told us
Was
that
that
on the
who it was?
call. Yeah.
It removes the power over it, right?
You just make
Like
them
it
repeat
holds-
it back.
it holds power
it
over it
sounds
till
so
you-
silly
till
when
you
you
can
say
say
it back.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think
It's like with anxiety, like when you have those fears, I was always taught that, all right, bring that fear out and start walking through what is worst case scenario?
That's right.
Like what's the worst that can happen? Okay, if that did happen, what would you do then? And all of a sudden you realize like, I guess it's not that big of a deal.
That's right.
And it lowers that anxiety and allows you to move forward faster.
Yeah.
yeah.
Great question to ask is one of the things we always talk about. We always talked about in the bold room when it came to like limited mindset and everything is we would ask the question, is it 100% true? Like is what you're thinking right now 100% true? Chances are no, it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
Or just asking the simple questions. All right, that's one theory. Give me another one.
Right.
It's and especially like I always think about like, have you ever you experience that breakup where like, your soulmate, this is high school or whatever, college, your soulmate broke up with you and you're just feeling your energy's down, you're laying around the house, you're eating cold pizza, you don't want to move, you don't want to go anywhere. Like it's just awful. And then all of a sudden that person calls and they're like, hey, I'm sorry I've been distant. I really want to get together. And instantly all the energy comes up. You jump up, you shower, you clean your place. You're ready to go meet that person. And it's that difference in perspective. Like originally I thought, oh, she wants nothing to do with me. And then I found out actually her grandmother died and that's why we haven't been talking.
Yeah.
Right.
And now it's like instantly back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have this amazing team. You run amazing businesses. You're God's gift to real estate, right?
I was gonna say
In his town of 3.
in the showbiz world, everything's amazing. Behind the scenes, it's just a mess like everybody else.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. All of us for sure. So thinking back at a failure that maybe you've experienced in the last few years, that really sucked to go through, right? Like it was, you hit a wall and you had to kind of battle through it. But now looking back, you can see that it sets you on a different trajectory, a different journey. You got anything like that maybe gives people hope?
Oh my God, yeah. Here's a good one that especially when you're building a team and you start teaching, like I had, I guess it's about 4 years ago at this point, maybe 3. My number 1 agent, my number 3 agent, my number 6 agent, my number 1 rookie, and 1 other came to me and they're like, we're going to start our own team, or we're going somewhere, or this person promised us more, whatever it was. And it was really tough to detach from the ego of, well, we're the number 1 team in Keller Williams in the entire state of Maryland, and we sell more than anybody, and we. And then all of a sudden, if all this production's walking out the door, who are we?
Yeah.
And it made us go back and look at, well, who are we? We're our culture. We're fail forward. We're learning based. We're growth mindset. And the people that were leaving at the time were in a much more, what can you do for me? It's all about me. Like just, and it's not, they're not bad people or anything like that.
Right.
They were just at that moment, they felt it's all about me. And fast forward 3 years, we're still the number 1 team in Maryland. We're still outselling everybody. We have a much better culture in the team because everyone's there for the same purpose. There's no, there's no attitudes. There's no prima donnas. Like all of that's wiped out. And anytime somebody starts to become a prima donna, we see it, we acknowledge it, and we make sure that it's knocked down right away because we already went through the experience of like, oh, walk on eggshells because we don't want that person to leave. That person leaving was probably the best thing to happen to our team.
Right.
One of the things I've seen, and to your credit, and mega team owners probably don't take enough credit in this. There's a lot of teams out there, right? And a real estate team in a smaller form may be around what each individual producer does. But as you see these big mega teams, like, 200 million is a lot of real estate. You probably don't give enough credit to the systems and models and ecosystem that your company provides, right? Because you realize people come, people go, and yet it still holds true because what people are hiring in the community is what your brand represents.
Yeah. And who comes and goes? Agents come and go.
Yeah.
But who doesn't come and go is your admin staff, your transaction coordinators, the people that are kind of the lifeblood of our company, the ones that run all of the systems. I can coach all day about what agents should do, and they're either going to do them or not do them. But when it comes to an employee, they run every single play and it goes absolutely smooth and perfect, and that's what the consumer's looking for.
Well, you and I know that our business is our database, and I look up and go, well, it doesn't really matter who the CEO is of Apple. If the CEO of Apple changes, people aren't going to stop using
the
Apple,
iPhone.
Right?
Yep.
And so I think about that, like you run a massive business, right? It's a very well-run, respectable business, and people, the agents moving through that are one thing, and you're right. We love them, and sometimes they're just on a different journey, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You have people that stay with you for a season, and you have people that stay with you for
10, 12 years, and
they become the cultural icons of your business. But people ultimately are hiring you because of the service that you provide in the community, right? And your database knows that, right?
And I think what I also realized that, my failure as a leader, losing those agents, a couple of years ago, I realized that everything was about real estate. In terms of, we didn't really discuss net worth. We didn't discuss investing. We didn't work on, other things outside of just selling real estate. Because as a real estate agent, when you first get started, KW is a perfect example. You show up the first time you've ever come to Mega Camp or Family Union, your eyes are huge. Everything's amazing. You hear like the most amazing content over and over and over again. You walk out of here thinking like, how can I ever do any of this stuff? Then 5 years, 6 years, 10 years later, I don't come here thinking that I'm going to hear something's going to change my world. I come here with an agenda of something I want to work on or something I want to grow on. But like same thing with our agents. Are we going past, how to write a contract and how to show a property and all that, and starting to talk about net worth and parenting and investing and stuff like that?
Well, I think it's important as leaders, you grow to probably this next level of leadership when you start to be transparent, right? I think especially like as a KWU instructor, I used to stand up in front of a class and deliver the content, and it was okay. Right. But when I learned to be transparent and to show who I am, and, for me, it was like leaning in and having conversations about faith before would have been taboo. Right. Now I go like, well, that's who I am. If that's not okay, then, that's your choice.
And I think what you said is faith. You didn't say a specific religion. Right. You said faith. And I think that there is a bond. It doesn't matter whether you're Buddhist or
the bond
Catholic or whatever. There's a bond in there that kind of runs true among all of them. And I think if that's what you're preaching and that's what you're talking about, I don't see anyone.
Yeah. If you're not curious about what's going on outside of you. Right. And anyway, but I think you have to learn as a leader to start to let that wall down a little bit and connect with you. It's not always about real estate, right?
Yeah,
it's not always 100%. About closing the deal. It's about what are your goals? Who are you becoming on the journey? Who do we become together? Right. I mean, I learned as much from, Bethany and you guys as y'all might learn from me. 100%. Right. And I enjoy that journey that we get to be on. Yeah. All right. And wrap us up here. Let's think about the end, right? You're done with business and raising families, and you've had this amazing life, and you look back. What do you anticipate might be your biggest regret?
Biggest regret? That's a good one. I don't see myself with a ton of regrets because I'm so purposeful with what I want to do. Like right now, I'm very passionate about, and I haven't really discussed this with anybody, is I want to develop this idea of family culture. I want, like we spend so much time crafting our company cultures and bringing, all our people together. What are we doing for our family culture? Are we sitting down and understanding like, what are our values? And not like I'm the patriarch, this is our values, but like, let's discuss it. What matters to you? What matters to you? Letting everybody have a voice, and then crafting like what that vision for the family is, understanding what the traditions might be or rituals that we could do, whether it's, dinner every Sunday or it's a international trip once a year, whatever it is, like creating those moments that build that communication and unity like we all do with our real estate teams. What would it look like if we had a system and a process to do that for families?
It's funny, on our last episode, we were just discussing about the intentionality we put in our business.
Idea. No one ever has spoken of it.
Original idea.
But the idea of like, where's your 1-3-5 to being the Superman husband, right? Where's your 1-3? I always think about it in terms of like, my big aha was I coach all of my people that are important to me one-on-one, like that I have close proximity to. Where am I spending 30 minutes a week with each one of my children one-on-one and just having that, having those conversations, right? And it was really neat when I started doing it. And to be honest with you, I've gotten out of it at the moment, but
until right now,
it's just my awareness went off. But having them write down on an index card, like what's important to them, where do they want to be in 5 years, right? Like things like that,
and seeing how that changes.
I thought they'd be like, "Oh, Dad." Right. Like, here you go again. Right.
Yeah.
And it was neat to see how excited they were to have that conversation.
And it takes time. It's just like your Fail Forward Friday when no one wanted to speak up. When you first ask a kid, what do you want? They're like, I don't know. And then over time, and it gets to be a normal conversation. So my son and I do, my oldest son, he's 5. We do pit and peek every day. So we lay down in bed after we read stories and brush teeth and all that. We lay there and I say, what was your pit and peek of the day? And he always says, you go first.
Yeah.
And then I pick something. He goes, that's mine too. And I'm like, okay, but now you have to come up with them. And I want him to get into that habit of every day thinking about great things that happened during his day and having appreciation for him and having that sense of, wonderful stuff going on in his world.
Yeah. We do that at dinner. And we have since, a decade now, right? We sit down.
Since your kids were my kids.
Not Pit and Pete, but we will, we always ask. In fact, my wife had it put on a piece of art on the wall at one point. It was, how was your day and what was your favorite part?
Yeah.
And whenever you're done with it, you get to choose who you ask next. So it's always neat to watch. Like, who's gonna get to ask, right?
I love the family culture.
When you give your failure, you then pick somebody else.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, brother. Well, thanks for being with us, Nick. We appreciate all the time you share. You're doing amazing things. I appreciate you pouring into our people and letting us pick your brain for a little bit. Thanks for being here, man.
I just appreciate all the nice things you say about me. I could sit here all day.
You're my favorite person.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.